Hey, welcome to once again another episode of Bookshade, and I am Amira Blaze. So guys, for today's episode, we are finally going to finish up this readathon reading vlog, and this is me doing reactions to J.R. Ward's Dark Lover, which is book 1 in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. Now, the readathon challenge that I've been applying to this reading vlog is what is called the series Crackdown challenge, where within 10 days you want to try to read as many books within one particular book series as you can. So that's why I decided to pick Black Dagger Brotherhood, because it was highly recommended by you guys, and also I love vampire romance, but I've never read this, so I ended up getting all of the books, and I'm gonna be doing reactions to all of the books and everything, as well as doing some commentary about, you know, how I feel about the book and everything like that. But before we get started here, guys, with getting to the conclusion of Dark Lover by J.R. Ward, guys, I was really excited. I had a chance yesterday to get a arc. Okay, this is my first ever arc. For those of you who are not familiar with what an ARC is, ARC stands for Advanced Reader Copy. And this book, guys, right here is called Marcus. It is the latest release from M.A. Gonzalez, and it's about a shapeshifter falling in love with a vampire, and how this relationship is really, is it going to happen, or is it not meant to be? So Marcus, guys, is actually out now on Amazon, so I will have all that information below today's episode, so you can check it out and read it yourself. It's only 179 pages, so I'm gonna try to see, guys, if I can challenge myself to read this in a day and do like a same day review for you guys, hopefully. But we'll see. We'll see what happens later on today. But yes, I am excuse me, I am so excited, guys, to read this. And Marcus is looking, whoo, he's looking good. Okay, so I am definitely excited. But guys, MA is such a nice person, so kind, so welcoming, and I am so proud of her and how talented she is. She's really talented. So many readers respect her work, so I feel really honored to be able to get an arc and to read this. I'm sure it's going to be such a kick-ass story, and she's really good with paranormal romance. So I am so excited, guys. But you know what, we're not going to waste any time. Let's get into it here, and let's continue this very interesting journey that we have had through Dark Lover. This is the first book, once again, in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series by J.R. Ward. So I did read ahead, guys, so let me kind of get you up to date with what's been going on. So a lot has been going on. First off, the first question I had to ask is, what is Z's loyalty, or Zeta's loyalty, to the Brotherhood? Because what ends up, well, we'll kind of go in order here. So that's the first question that I had, because it seems like him and Raft have some tension going on. But prior to that, Wrath and Beth, guys, ended up getting married. Yes, okay. And the ceremony, in some parts, it's quite painful, okay, because what ends up happening is Beth is kind of scared for Wrath, but this is just part of their like tradition within the Brotherhood, is what ends up happening is he takes off his black robe and he stands before each one of his brothers, and they take out a dagger. And what they were doing, guys, was they were spelling out Beth's name on his back, and that symbolizes his loyalty to Beth. So how cool is that? Painful, but cool, you know? And I mean, they put salt all over the wound and everything. I'm like, ooh, I was just cringing in those moments. We also find out too that Marissa and Butch are getting closer and closer, and Butch does not mind that Marissa is a vampire. Okay, now he's still kind of scared of the dematerializing thing, which I can understand, because it's like you're here and then you like disappear, you know, like that's a lot, okay, to take in. But you know, everything seems to be going so well so far until Havers, when Marissa comes home, Havers smells, he's like, wait a minute, that's men's aftershave? And then he was mad. So I was thinking he was going to go to the club where all of the brothers and Butch was hanging out to like take out Butch, because I was really concerned for him. But that didn't happen, because on the way for, you know, Havers getting to the club, Zeta stops him, and they converse. And he wants for Zetas to take out Wrath. And like Zetas is like, you don't even have to pay me, I'll take him out for free. And I'm like, ooh, that's ratchet. So that's where we're at. So we're at the point now where Zetas calls Wrath and tells him like, hey Wrath, I just want to let you know that Havers wanted for me to kill you, but I just wanted to let you know. And then that pisses Wrath off, and now he's kind of distrusting Zetas. But then he talks to Fury, and Fury is just like, hey, please do not take my brother out. You know, he would never go against you. He's a lot better than how he was in his past, because we haven't learned much about Zetas. All we know about Zetas so far is he's just kind of mysterious, and he might have some, who knows, some anger management problems, but that's about all we know about him. And we know that Zetas and Fury, they're twins. So that's about it. So I'm at the point now where Wrath has decided to call the Brotherhood Council so that they can all meet to determine Zeta's fate, as well as Havers, and taking Havers out. But Wrath is hesitating because he doesn't want to take Havers out, because he knows that that would really hurt his former Shellin, Marissa. So that's all that's been going on. On top of that, too, to backtrack, we also have the other interesting story angle with Billy Riddle and Mr. X. They have finally completed the ceremony for Billy to become a lesser, and it was quite graphic, guys. So I have to say, with this particular book series, viewer discretion is advised. It was very graphic. I mean, the Omega, who is like the leader of the lessening society of the lessers, he literally like cuts open Billy's chest and puts his blood in his chest. It was a lot, okay? Like it was a lot. It was quite graphic, because that's the way that lessers, they take the Omega's blood into their bodies, and that's how they're able to get their abilities and stuff. It was very graphic, and I'm sure that was terrible to endure. But Mr. X was proud of Billy, and he's welcoming him into the Lesser's society, and Billy has been like throwing up and dealing with the body pain of this transformation. So that's what's happened up to this point so far. All right, so let's continue here, guys. I got a couple pages more, and then we will be done reading Dark Lover. Like, oh man, this is great. This is absolutely great. It's been an interesting journey reading this so far. So I'm not going to waste any time, guys. Let's get started here for the grand finale of me reacting and reading through Dark Lover, Book 1 by J.R. Ward. So let's get started. Oh no. Seems Beth is in trouble, man. Okay, so this was intense, guys. So this is what has happened so far. So Beth was like getting some food in the kitchen, just minding her own business, and then this weird like guy with silver hair, of course a lesser, like just white silverish hair, comes by, kind of pretending that they were like an electrical like repair person. And little did she know that that was the lesser, and the lesser like breaks through the glass window and starts like coming at her. And then she's like running, but unfortunately she gets hit with a tranquilizer and is taken down. And so it seems like they found them, they've broken into their place. And of course, because Raph can't be out in the sunlight, he feels so helpless, and now he asks Butch for his assistance. So that's where we're at so far. So this is getting good. So now this is like the final showdown here. Oh. All right, this is getting good. Okay, so this was a shorter chapter. So come to find out, not a shocker to me, but it was Mr. X who was the one that dressed up like the repairman, and he had been there the night before, like to try to infiltrate the place to kind of understand the structure. But it doesn't specify who, because it just says that a vampire gave him the address. So I'm assuming that Zetas did it, but it could have been someone else. So this is interesting, guys. This is getting interesting. Aww. Okay, this is intense. Okay, so pretty much we move on to the perspective of Marissa. Marissa is just fantasizing about Butch. Like she wants to be all up on that, which I don't blame her because Butch is fine. Okay, but unfortunately she was in her room, you know, reading, just, you know, it was time for her to go to see Butch, but for some reason she can't dematerialize and her door is locked. And she's like, Havers, like, where are you? What's going on? And he's like, I'm so sorry it had to be like this. And then she finally confessed to him that she's not with Raph anymore. Their covenant is broken. And he's still like, you can't go there. So it was Havers who gave the address. It seems like Havers was the one that gave the address to Mr. X, because there's no way Mr. X would have known, like, just from the way that this is written. So it seems maybe Havers gave the information to Mr. X, and that's how he was able to infiltrate their residence. It's really fucked up. It's really fucked up. And I feel bad for Marissa, because she's literally stuck in her room. She can't escape. Like, how shitty is that? That really sucks. Oh no. Oh, that sucks. Oh man, Raph is pissed. Oh. Okay, so the other thing I was curious about was Beth apparently got this ring from, well, it came from the scribe version, which was given to Raph, and the ruby, it's a beautiful big ruby ring. That ring is actually the queen's ring. So technically Beth is like the queen of the vampires in a way, even though the scribe version is, but she like, now she's a queen, like maybe a secondary queen or something like that. So I thought that that was interesting. So now they're going to infiltrate this Lesser's academy, and they're like, Raph's like, I don't give a fuck, like I want you to destroy as many Lessers as possible and burn it to the ground. So that's what's happened so far. So we're on chapter 50, guys. We're getting there. We're getting there. Ooh, sorry for yawning, guys. Oh, Raft is not fucking around. He's pissed. Man, this is when you know a man loves you, is when he is so pissed that he is roaring, okay? So it says here, by now the sound was a roar, and the barn was shaking so violently, dust from the rafters was falling, and a fine snow that clouded the air. Like, Raft is pissed as fuck. Oh my gosh. He's not playing around. He is kicking some ass. Ooh. Oh. 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 Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, that's so gross. Okay, so what ends up happening is Beth was finally able to free herself from the table that she had been bound to. And Raph is just like, Beth, run. I'll catch up with you later, okay? I mean, I'm the king of vampires. I can handle this. But then, you know, Beth decided, like, you know, I gotta fight too. She can be just as stubborn as Raph, so I can see why they're together, you know. But then what ends up happening is Mr. X is like, hey, release the dogs. And they have these really, really, really rough looking like pit bulls. And two of the dogs start to go after like Raph's like ankles and stuff. And then Beth was going to take probably a hammer to Billy, but then one of the dogs ends up like biting deep, like gashing her thigh and like ripping her like muscle in her thigh. That is so disgusting. Ugh. That's why I was cringing, guys. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, that's so disgusting. Guys, okay. So Raph was finally able to get the dog off of Beth. And then he went after Billy, guys, and just tore his head off. Oh, that. Oh, that is so disgusting. So, like I said, guys, viewer discretion is advised with this book series because, as you can see, it's quite graphic, okay? And he like bit into his neck and like, oh, this is so disgusting. Oh no. Oh. Aww. Aww.
I want you to jump like you trying to get stuck in the air. If you feeling so lit and don't care, shorty beat in her face in the mirror, up in the air. I want you to jump, 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 up in the air. I want you to jump, jump.
Aww.
Like you trying to get stuck in it. In the air. Like you trying to get stuck in the air. I want you to jump like you trying to get stuck in the air. If you feeling so lit and don't care, shorty beat in her face in the mirror, up in the air. I want you to jump like you trying to get stuck in the air. If you feeling so
Oh.
shorty beat in her face in the mirror, up in the air. I want you to jump, jump. I want you to jump, 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 jump. Up in the air. I want you to.
Mm. Okay. This is crazy. I was not expecting this, guys, but Raph got hit by I think it was probably the torch maybe, or one of the dogs that bit him really severely. That he's bleeding from the side of his stomach, but there's just so much blood that he's starting to fade away and he's like dying. And then she gets a call from Butch, and Vicious tells her, you know, that she's going to have to give him blood. And yeah, it was pretty, yeah, that, ooh, it just, ooh, it's such an intense scene. It's really sad. I'm like, poor Bev, poor Raph. This is too much, man. I'm all in my feelings today. Yay! Oh. Aw. Okay, so out of nowhere, they don't explain why, but Marissa like dematerializes, and I think she's probably with Havers too. And now they're taking him to their like vampire like hospital in a way. Like, so yeah, sometimes stuff like that happens in this particular book where you're just like, wait a minute, I thought Marissa was like locked up in her room, so like how did she get out? Like there's just no explanation for that, so that was a little off-putting. So sorry for yawning, guys. It's been a long day. Oh, we're almost there, guys. Chapter 51. We got a little bit left here. We're almost there. I can do this. I know I can. Ooh. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Aww. Ooh. Okay, guys. When I said I knew it, I knew it. I knew it was Havers who told Mr. X where they were. I figured that's what happened, you know? And now he wants to feel like an asshole because, you know, he was wrong for doing that. And I think he also sees how much Beth really cares for Raph because she is not eating. She is like staying by his side until he wakes up. So that's that true, deep love right there, you know? Like, so wonderful, guys. So wonderful. Oh my gosh, this is really good. So let's give props to Marissa because if it was not for her, he may have not even gotten probably enough blood, but we don't know if he's, you know, doing well or not. So let's see what happens here. Ooh. Okay, so it was true that Zadis didn't do anything, so he's innocent. So, sorry guys. So now, Havers is starting to feel guilt for the that was just terrible that he would even want for one of his brothers to take him out. And now the vampire law states that if you make a threat against the Vampire King, I mean, that pretty much puts you in the category of being destroyed, unfortunately. And the brothers are also pissed at him too, and Torment like actually grabbed Havers and tried to choke him out, so he's in a bad position right now. So let's hope that Raph wakes up, you know? Ah.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me. You can make me. Can make me.
Yay! Yay!
Make it last forever. Stop in time. Yeah, I'm surrendering. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all
Aww. Hmm. Oh, this is great, guys. So right now, we're going through Raph's healing process. So some moments he would get up and then he would fade, and go back to, being tired and sleeping. And then there was a moment where like his whole legs and body was convulsing. And then, Beth would come and then he would calm down. So it seems like this is going to be quite a long like healing process. So with that, guys, I'm gonna take a quick break here. I just have to get up and stretch and move around, which is good for your body, and then we'll be back, guys, because we got a couple more pages left, and then we will be done with my reactions and kind of do a wrap up here of what I think about the first book. And what I decided to do too, guys, is I'm not going to react to every like book. I'm only gonna do this if for like book series where it's like the first book in the series, and then after that I'm just going to read it and then do like a wrap up on it, because I think this series is really long. So it's unfortunately I just don't have the time like that, but I will do this if I'm reading like a series and it's like the first book in the series, or if it's like a standalone, then I will do this. Oh hey, and we have Zell, and Zell says, "Oh, just missed it. Nice book, anyways." Yeah, it's. I mean, it's a decent book. Oh hey, we have not Yuta. Hey, welcome to the show. And Yuta says, "What's the book about? Hi, new here." Okay, so what Dark Lover by J.R. Ward is about is the story has a couple focus points. Okay, so you have the vampires, and then we also have what's called the Lessening Society. Now, vampires and lessers have been fighting for a very long time. This is a paranormal like fight in a way that's done underground, away from humans. Okay, so pretty much what happens is you have this group that's called the Brotherhood, and the Brotherhood are like the strong, like ancient vampires, and these vampires fight against what the group that's called the Lessening Society. So lessers are pretty much humans that have like superpowers in a way. Their hair turns like silver, and for some reason lessers, they smell like baby powder, which is an interesting description. But that's how you can tell when a lesser is around. And at first they have to go through this very just painstaking ceremony to become a lesser, and they look normal like myself, but then over time they start to lose their like humanistic features, and then they tend to look a little more like translucent with the skin tone, and then they have like a grayish like silver hair. And Nayuta's asking, is it like Twilight? Nope. Twilight is terrible. Oh my gosh, like I am going to be reviewing the Twilight trilogy, but it is so bad, Twilight. And the movies, I mean, graphically they're decent, but it's gonna be interesting how people take this fourth book in the series, because I don't know why it took Stephanie Meyer so long to like come out with the fourth book. Like I mean, people still care. I mean, people are very excited about it, but you know, maybe this is just the elitist in me as a vampire, book stan. I don't consider Twilight good vampire literature. I think it's an embarrassment to vampire literature, but that's just me. But yeah, that's what the book is about, is just this fight, this like paranormal like creature fight between the lessers and the vampires, and it's a vampire romance, so definitely you're going to see certain this like vampires getting together with like humans, like for example Butch and Marissa. Then you have the main couple, which is Wrath and Beth. Beth is the daughter of one of the brothers in the Brotherhood named Darius. But what makes her unique though is Beth is half human, half vampire. So she can go out in the daylight, but the rest of them cannot. So what ends up happening is she meets Wrath, and for some reason, Wrath and her just have this very strong attraction to each other, and they end up getting married. And now I'm at the ending part right now, where we'll see how everything comes together. So that's what this book has been about so far. But one thing I will say that is a criticism of this book is sometimes the storylines come together, and then other times stuff just happens at random and there's like no explanation. And Zell says, I like it. Nice explanation. Thanks. I appreciate it. I spend so much time, guys, reading paranormal romance that I'm able to summarize things, pretty well. So, all right, guys, I'll be back in like a couple minutes here. So, hang tight, and I'm just gonna stretch and get some circulation in my legs, and we gonna wrap this shit up and see what happens. Okay, I'll be back. All right, thanks for your patience, guys. I just had to it's important to do that like every hour or so. I just take a moment to stretch because you gotta make sure you know your circulation is good. So we're gonna get started here again. All right, let's continue here. So I'm gonna be reading this series in between other like standalone books, but see what I've realized though is I didn't realize how much time it was going to take for me to like finish this book. So I'm only gonna do it for like the first book in a book series. And hey, we got Turkey. What's up? And appreciate you being on the show. Okay, checking out the show. All right, let's continue here, guys. We got a little bit left, and then I'll let you guys know how I feel. But I think that's what I'm gonna do, just because like it does take a lot of time to like do this. So, and I think you guys will. Hey, what's up, Vortex? Thanks so much for following. So I'm gonna just do it with like the first book in the series and like standalone books and like shorter books. But I don't think I'm gonna like do this for like every single book. And we got Turkey again. Hey, thanks so much for following. I appreciate that. All right, let's continue here, guys. And we got Sin. All right, thanks so much for following too. I appreciate that. And Vortex, no, I do not, just to let you know. Ooh. Aww. Aww. I love how much Raph just has this just deeply devoted love for like commitment to Beth. That is like so romantic though. He like starts crying because he has this realization like, oh my gosh, I am still alive, you're still alive, we've been through hell and back and everything is good. Like that's wonderful. Oh my gosh. Aww. Raph he's ridiculous. He's like obsessed with Beth, but that's cute though. It's like a cute obsession, you know? And so she's telling him, like, you know, squeeze once for yes and twice for no. And then she's like, do you need me? And he's like squeezing her hand profusely. And she's like, oh, come on. That's really cute. Oh, that's so great. Aww. Aww. Aw. Aw. Yo. Rage is mad thirsty. So they were talking about how like Beth is so protective and how wonderful of a woman she is to Raph. And then Rage made the joke of like, oh, I wonder if she has a sister. And I'm just like, really, Rage? You is that thirsty? Oh, come on. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh. Okay, so Butch is having like a moment. He's wondering about Marissa because she hadn't really been around since she like helped Raph to recover with her blood a little bit, you know? And I love Beth for this very reason that Marissa like told her, she's like, is it okay for me to give him my blood? And she's like, I want him to live. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you know, I really appreciate that about Beth being flexible, considering that Marissa was like, you know, the ex-Shellen. So that just goes to show that sometimes, you know, sometimes things can work out, you know. There just has to be a respect level between you and your ex, you know. Like for me, sometimes I'm just like, well, because there's that question like, you know, would you get back with your ex or whatever? For me, I would say no, but in this case it's like saving his life, so you have to be flexible in those type of it's a matter of life and death here, okay? So it's like, let's put our differences aside, because we know throughout the book that Marissa has a lot of animosity towards Beth, but I think in that particular moment is what kind of brought them all together in a way, is because of wanting to keep Raph alive. Okay, so we're... Oh, excuse me, guys. Whew. It's been a long day. So, all right, we're getting down a little bit more here. So now we are on 52, chapter 52. Aw. Aw. No, 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 no. This cannot be happening right now. Okay, guys, so this is what's up. All right, so Rev has been through all kinds of hell. His body is just beaten and battered. And finally, he's healing up. You know, he was able to wash his hair on his own. He's moving a little bit slow, but he's better than where he was before. And then all of a sudden, he's like, I'm turned on. Let's do it in the hospital. And like Beth's like, real? Like, are you okay? Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. Oh, of course, we have Cycle and we have, yeah. Oh, we have TV Joe. What's up? Welcome to the show. So for those of you who are new to my program, this is called Bookshade. We talk about the following. We talk about paranormal romance, historical fiction, and I also review what are called webtoons, which are web comics from South Korea. So and yeah, we do get into some books that get, you know, they get really hot and stuff. Like this book series, like in regards to the sexuality in this book, I mean, it can be intense, but it's not as intense like in some other romantic book series that I have read. So, all right, now I'm excited here. Let's see what's gonna happen here. And okay, and Cycle, just to let you guys know, my show is very accepting of LGBTQIA plus. So, you know, I'm very accepting of that. I actually do review LGBTQIA plus romance books as well. So just to let you know. And I also review interracial romance too. So oh. Oh. Aw. I love Z, man. Z is the best. That was really nice of Raph to spare Haver's life because everything has like kind of come together, which many of you guys told me, okay? But what ended up happening was Tor only told Raph only part of what, like, you know, Zadis had said, but Zadis had been completely loyal, so Raph apologized for not taking him seriously. And he also, and see, this is such a good characteristic of a good person, is forgiving those who may have not treated you right. And he understood the reason why Haver's motivation for going after him was vengeance. So for his sister and the way that she was treated when Marissa was Raph's Shellin. So he was just like, just don't come at me again or we gonna have some problems. All right, so that's fair, okay. So I respect Raph for that for sure. Ooh, ooh. No. Oh hey, we have oh my gosh, guys, we're so close to being done. Oh, we have a little bit left. And we have Mike. Hey, Mike, welcome to the show. And Mike's like, how's the book? Yeah, so far, guys, it's not too bad. The only thing that's problematic with Dark Lover, though, is in the beginning, there's a lot of inconsistencies. Like, the book is just all over the place. There's just so much going on. But then once you get to the middle of the book, then that's when things start to kind of fall into place, and then you start to see the relationships, the relationships between the characters. But then another problem that I have with this book too is that sometimes for some reason, like, things just happen and there's like no explanation at all. So like, for example, Butch being comfortable with, like, he's human being around like vampires dematerializing and stuff, like, and he's like, oh, okay, whatever, this is just how it is. That's kind of surprising, because in the beginning Butch was a very critical and very, like, at times judgmental and stubborn kind of person. So that's like the only downside to this book is like the first half of it is just a lot of just banter, and it's just a lot going on. But it's not until you get to the middle of the book and onward, towards the end here, it really got good, and like the action sequences are really good. So that's how I feel about the book so far. But let's see what's gonna happen here. Oh my gosh, we're almost done. Oh. All right, we're on chapter 53, guys. We're getting there. Oh, hey, we have, of course, Lojar. Welcome to the show. Appreciate you being here. So how this works, guys, is I'm reading and like reacting to it. So, if I'm not like talking to you guys, that's why. But this is just meant to react and like give like commentary and stuff. So I'm not gonna do this all the time. I'll probably be doing these live episodes now, probably like ever so often. But I've realized now that this takes a long time to do, so I'll just kind of stick to doing like wrap ups and like reviews, on how I like, or like doing like a book like discussion or something like that. But I'm not gonna do it for like every like this, the way I've been reacting to it, because I realize this takes a lot of time, and unfortunately I won't be able to do it with this series because it's a really big series. There are so many books in this series. So all right, so let's get back into it. We're on chapter 54. Whoa, that is crazy. Okay, so Butch's comrade decides to go to his apartment, but for some reason Butch is not there, and that concerns Jose. And hey, we got Swag, and Swag says, "Ah, yes, Dark Lover, some of J.R. Ward's best work." And apparently Husky says, "Who cares?" And this book is ass. Well, that's your personal opinion. Okay. But I have to say, though, yeah, some people say that this is her best series. And then she has another one that's called the Bourbon King series. But then some people don't like that one, and I think she also has like a Fallen Angels one, and some people are into that and some people are not. But just from reading what I've read here in the first book, I mean, it's good towards the end, but the beginning of the book is absolute garbage, because if you're, to me, it's just all over the place, and like there's too many storylines going on, so sometimes it's kind of hard to follow. But the ending part is the redeeming part of this book. But I prefer the Vampire Chronicles. Maybe I like the pace better. Vampire Chronicles was written by Anne Rice, and I need to continue reading the Stooky Stackhouse series by Charlene Harris, because that also gives a different take too on like the vampire. But this series, it's intense. But one thing I do like about her work, and I respect her for, is she has really good like action like scenes. But the first half of the book was too much filler for me. Like, it was way too much filler. And like sometimes there were conversations where it was just very cutthroat, and you're just kind of like, oh, okay. But you know, I still think it's decent. But like, this book is a little bit complex and it's very graphic, so viewer discretion is advised. On top of that, this book has a lot of deep terminology and like history and stuff, so I wouldn't recommend this for a beginner to read. This is a very complex book series, so I mean, it's decent so far, but we'll see, because I have, you know, the whole like series of books, so we'll see if it gets better, because some people say the first like 13 books were really good, and then after that it kind of died down and got really bad. But we'll see, because when it comes to reading, it's just a matter of personal personal opinion. So we'll see how things kind of unfold here, because I think this is the last chapter, but we'll see. All right, chapter 54, here we go, guys. No way. Aww.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me.
Okay, this came out of nowhere, guys. I was not expecting this, but this chapter starts off with Darius's perspective, and now he's in this place. It's kind of similar to, I would say, like heaven, but they call it the Fade, or it might be like purgatory if you're, if you're thinking about it from like the Christian perspective. But I would say it's more like heaven. But he's in this place called the Fade, and the scribe virgin comes up to him and like says like, hey, you were killed in a dishonorable fashion, and I'm not gonna give away like what happens with that. Well, maybe I did explain it in the beginning, but it was terrible how he died. So I think the scribe virgin is gonna like make it up to him, so he can visit Beth one last time, which it's emotional, guys. So emotional. Aww. Okay. So from Darius' perspective, Described Virgin offers him a deal that he can be brought back to life. However, he will not have any memory of Beth at all, which really sucks. But because he wanted a second chance at life, he's just like, I'll just take it. So this is gonna be interesting how they're going to like react to him coming back and everything. So this is gonna be interesting. So we're on chapter 55.
There's one downside about living in the center of the UK. It's the highest rate of radiation on this tiny
Oh.
and the fact that that's all you when your hair starts to fall out, radiation isn't it? It's a secret with it. I'll never tell you anything about it.
Ugh.
Help. They're all dead.
This is crazy. Okay, so now we are getting to the epilogue here. So let me explain what has happened here. Okay, so this is crazy. So we have Darius coming back to life, but he has no memory of Beth at all. Then we have Mr. X actually got away, which I figured. So what happened was when he was fighting all that shit, like everything was going down, Mr. X was able to crawl out and get into his car and drive away, and he's like way out in the mountains somewhere at his cabin. Okay, this sounds like an episode of X-Men. You know, it sounds like it. Because I swear, every episode of X-Men here and there, there's always like an episode of like Wolverine like going to the woods or some shit. I love me some Wolverine though. He is very sexy, but getting back into it here. So yeah, Mr. X, he has escaped, and all of a sudden he hears the door opening on his cabin, and he feels this very weird presence, and lo and behold, it's the fucking Omega, who is the Omega is the leader of the Lessers, and he says to he says to Mr. X, he's like, I am here to take care of you. So that's what's going on. So let's check out what's happening in this epilogue. I wasn't expecting an epilogue at all. I thought that it was just going to like stop. It would just be like a cliffhanger to the second book. But let's see what happens here. I'm excited here. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. Woo.
Told you to walk away. That was my first and last mistake. I'm blue without your face. But what can I do? 'Cause I'm just a sinking ship. And you're just
Oh no.
lips. But I've lost in the moment. All I want is for you to come back. Now I'm
Oh.
and this can be the end. I won't just settle for being your friend. A broken bond is not too late to mend. But what can I do? 'Cause I'm just a sinking ship. And you're just a pair of lips that I've lost in the moment. All I want is for you to come back. Now I'm so I can give you one more chance. You're only living in your damn
Oh.
Rising with each beat of the music is bringing. We're flames in the fire that keeps burning. We're inviting the night in. Welcome, my heart so full, I'm devoting myself to the night. There's no motive. We're just listening. We're existing.
Oh. Yes! Oh my gosh, guys. We are done with reading Dark Lover. This is book 1 in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series by J.R. Ward. That was a lot. Even though this book is over like 300 pages though, but with the amount of all the stuff going on, it feels like I'm reading like a tome, you know, like a massive tome. So what do I think about the book? Let's go over the pros and cons of Dark Lover. So I would have to say a pro is they do a good job like introducing you to the characters. So you know who Beth is, you know Raph, you know Fritz. I love Fritz. He's so sweet. You know their personalities, and you also learn how they relate to each other. So that I love, and I love the deep descriptions and the adjectives and everything. It just really comes together like just beautifully, you know. And the humor is funny too, especially with Rage. And Rage, like towards the end, he's like, do I have to see you guys make out all the time? He's like, you know, he's like, I'll just get a bunch of women and call it a day. You know, like stuff like that is really funny. And the relationship building is very organic. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like, you know, J.R. Ward was like rushing through. She really took her time to really flesh out these characters. So I definitely appreciate that. With the positives, and to explain what happened here a little bit in the end is they're deciding to move to a different place, and they're also taking Butch with them because like Raph still kind of doesn't trust him. So it's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen in book 2 with all of them. And they're also taking Fritz as well. So I was like, yes! And Fritz, he's so cute. He's like, I just love serving you guys. And I'm just like, oh, he's wonderful. He's wonderful. I love Fritz. But yeah, they all have their distinct like personalities. So Yeah, it's really refreshing. So what are the negatives of Dark Lover? Well, the first thing I will say is the first half of this book, it's like chaos. Like there's so much stuff going on. I mean, you got Beth's situation, and then you also have the conflicts that she's having with Marissa, and then Marissa's having her own internalized conflict. Then you have the battle between Marissa and Havers. Then you have Butch wanting to be oh hey, and we have Nick. Hey, welcome to the program. Yeah, I haven't been doing the show, guys, a lot, because I've had a lot going on. And then the last couple days, I wasn't feeling too good. So I'm just kind of getting back into doing it. I try to do the show at least twice a week. And then in between the times that I'm not doing the show, I'm like either reading a book or reading a webtoon or something like that to review. So this is mainly going to be commentary and reviews, and then doing these type of live kind of reactions to taking like the rules of a certain readathon. So right now I'm doing series Crackdown. So within these next 10 days, I'm going to see how many books in this Black Dagger Brotherhood that I can read. But this was it's an interesting start to the series. Now, and I like the action scenes, like, and she is very graphic with those action scenes, like, man. So she does not hold back. So I appreciate that. The negatives to this book, I have to say though, like the first part I was mentioning, there's just so many storylines going on that it's like chaotic. So if you're not used to that, you may not like this book. The second problem for me though was like stuff just happening at random and then like no explanation for it. So like, for example, how did Marissa get out of her room? Because like Havers had her locked in and she couldn't dematerialize. So that, like, stuff like that. And then why is the fact that Butch is so comfortable around these vampires when he's human, and he's like, it's not like he was raised by vampires or something like that. So like stuff like that is kind of weird. And then like some of the chapters were really fleshed out, really long, and it was nice. But then there's some of these chapters like the epilogue where it kind of feels cutthroat a little bit. So those are like the only negatives. I would not recommend this book series to beginners of if you're a beginner in paranormal romance or vampire romance, because this book, guys, has a, like, literally in the beginning here, and I mean it's good, but there's literally like a glossary of terms, and anytime I see that, I know it's going to be complex. But I appreciate though J.R. Ward putting that in, because she has specific like definitions for certain terms that you're gonna hear common in this series. So what I would suggest to do, and I actually have it, it's called the Black Dagger Brotherhood Guide. Is a complete guide to this series. So it covers like the relationships between the characters, like the different types of terminologies and stuff like that. So that's going to be very vital for you to like go when you're reading this series, for it to make sense. Because when I read the glossary and then I started reading the book, now I know the difference between like a Hellren and a, and Shellen and all these terms, and she does a good job like explaining it. But I would suggest, before getting into this book, read the glossary. It will make it so much easier, because sometimes they use these terms throughout the book and then they don't give like a clear definition. So that's the whole point of the glossary, is you can go back and use it as a reference. But I have to say though, I did enjoy this. If I could give it a rating, I would probably give Dark Lover by J.R. Ward, I probably would give it a 4 out of 5. It gets knocked off a point just because of the beginning of the book, where I was just like character overload. It was just like, whoa, it was just too much, you know? I mean, the main focus is, of course, Raph and Beth's, like, the formation of their relationship, but all this extra fluff around it, sometimes it gets a little bit too much. So that's how I feel about it. You guys let me know, have you read Dark Lover by J.R. Ward? And this is the next book that I'm gonna be reading starting tomorrow. Hopefully I could read it in a day, but we'll see. This is M.A. Gonzalez's Marcus, and it is out now on Amazon, guys. So this is a story that is between a shapeshifter and a vampire, and it's not supposed to happen. So we shall see how that's going to be. All right, guys, so I'm gonna get out of here. Whew, I am tired. I gotta take all this makeup off and be able to relax, okay? So of course, you guys can keep in touch with me the following ways. I am on Twitter and Instagram, which is at bookshade1. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and like I always say, remember to embrace the darkness of reading. Take care, guys.